Not that anybody gives a fuck what I'm doing, but um, I have decided that I kind of have felt bad about the base that I've grown on X. How I grew my base, how I grew my um base. Like I'm somebody, where the fuck? How I grew the followers, so people might think like, you got a ton of followers. But how I grew them was this is how it was kind of like a glitch. I didn't pay for no I've never paid for any type of followers or anything like that or subscribers. It's nothing I've ever done. But there was this thing that MAGA was doing. Um my first X account, Twitter account got banned. I got myself up to 5,000 followers on there. It was probably like 2020 or 2021 or something like that, and then I got banned, obviously, like I said. So I made my, uh, probably around 2022, I made my X account, my new X account. And I did the same thing. You know, MAGA usually follow you back. Yeah, especially if they know you're MAGA, you know, like they follow you back. That was just like a thing that like they they were doing. So that's how I did it. So I gained all these followers, and then you know, thinking I'm some type of a hot shot or something like that, like I'm some type of big dog. I decided to delete everybody after a couple years. Basically, after we won, I'm trying to like, you know, thinking I'm somebody special. A big thing was, um, I wanted to narrow it down to the people that like influenced me. You know, follow the people that, you know, people I was listening to, content creators, not just like random people that I, you know, followed me back or something like that. So I did that, and you know, realizing like feeling bad that I did that, and the way I'm gonna go about things now is if somebody engages with me, I'm gonna follow them back. I don't care if they are a check mark or whatever. Like if somebody, especially like if it's somebody like being positive, I'm gonna engage with them back. And another thing I'm gonna try to do too on X, instead of being like really aggressive and blunt and straightforward, I think I'm gonna take Grok's advice, the AI off of there, and kind of like ask questions. You know, instead of kind of like just like ask questions in a respectful manner. So just now I got rid of like all the big content creators, anybody famous that hasn't interacted with me at all. I just got rid of them. It was Trump. Trump was one of them. You know, Elon Musk. Like, obviously, they're never gonna interact with somebody like me because I'm a fucking nobody. But you know, there are some big content creators that have interacted with me. They have actually like not just put a like on something I wrote, but like they've actually maybe said something back. A couple of them, if they put a like, I might say something, kept them. But like if they interacted, I kept them because I think that that's admirable to have a big account and to not have like they could see me and not interact with me or whatever. And it's not, you know what I mean? So I just decided to keep them because at least they interacted. Um, Basically, I want to get rid of like all the famous people that don't really they don't really prop anyone else up. And like I said, they're not interacting with nobody. So yeah, I might like them, I might support them, but like, you know, they're not anybody. Like in my personal life, so there's no point for me to follow these people. I did the same thing with my YouTube channel. Is weird going through my YouTube channel, like all the people I subscribed to throughout the years, and I kept some of the bigger ones that have interacted with me, but just get rid of everybody else, and kind of just like, I guess, like starting fresh, and trying to have a different aspect of realizing like, dude, I'm a nobody, man. I'm a fucking nobody. Um, and yeah, yeah, I've been humbled. It's like, yeah, it's like constantly humbled so much where like even if I'm trying to build confidence, destroyed by humbleness. Don't know why it has to keep happening where I'm constantly having to be humble anytime I get. It's not like I get to the point where I'm like really arrogant, but it's like I always have to feel like I'm weak in this lifetime, I guess. I don't know if that's what God's plan is for me, to always feel like I'm weak, to always be like the soft, like when people start like interrupt me or something, or like, like I'm talking and then like I'm like really, I'm like ranting and it's like really connecting, coming together, and then somebody comes and interrupts, and like it happens every time when I get in the flow, and it's hard for me to get into the flow because I feel like I don't know, I'm scatterbrained, I guess. I'm everywhere. It takes a little, I guess I get in the flow here and there. You know, um, sometimes I bet if anybody has watched a lot of my videos, which why would you? I don't even watch my own videos, so I don't know why anybody would watch this. I'm a piece of shit. I'm garbage. It's quite clear from what the internet has told me that I'm trash. Another thing I'm thinking about doing too is just being fake. Mm, just being fake. I mean, that's what people like, and that's how you get by in this society, is just being fake. And it just seems people really don't really respect truth tellers, and people don't want truth tellers. So the best thing for me to do, instead of embarrassing people that actually, I don't want to embarrass anybody. Just be fake. I'll act like I'm happy, just always act like I'm in a good mood, like I'm interested, and just you know, like at the like I've been practicing because even though I've been very introverted this last few years. I really did a lot of work on myself after me and my ex fiance broke up, where I started trying to be more extrovert. Even before her, I tried to be more extrovert, and it was okay. I would try to say hi to everybody, like when I was walking at the park that walked past me, stuff like that, and I think I want to try to start doing that and see if that, makes me feel better in this life. Because, yeah, I don't feel good in this life. I'm not happy in this life. I don't like being isolated. It really isn't doing anything for me. Another thing that's not doing anything for me, it's not really serving me, is like taking in so much content and learning so much, because it really doesn't affect my own personal life, like learning about politics or whatever, or how the government works, or finances, or I know it sounds weird, but it really hasn't it really hasn't done anything for me. um I'm not saying that it doesn't do nothing. It probably helps out a lot of people, but I'm just probably stupid or something like that. Um, so maybe I'm not applying it right or whatever. But like, it just feels like I've just been wasting my time, like listening to all this content, listening to everything that's happening right now, listen to everything that's going on. How does it affect my personal life? I've had this concept where, yeah, I'm not like big right now, but maybe one day when I'm passed on, I might be big, and people will be like, how the hell did he know that? That's crazy that he said that. Like, and that happened, or something similar that rhymed with what he said when it comes to like the development of technology. But what does that matter anyway if we're all going to get eaten by a black hole? and so it really doesn't matter. Um, you know, I'm not gonna be here much longer anyway. Like, I'm already halfway through this life. Um, I'm not saying I'm gonna be gone anytime soon, because there's um a lot of people in my life that have lived long lives. In my life, what am I talking about? There's people, like, my grandparents have lived long lives, so there's a high probability, if I take care of myself, which I still haven't got over the eating problems. I haven't smoked weed. I stopped that, like I said I was going to. And smoking weed really does help me, honestly. It really, really helps me. And, it calms me down. I stopped really caring about, like, what's going on right now. I might post something on my, like, a thumbnail or something like that. Um, so you can see, like, the big drop off of when I stopped really paying attention after Trump was inaugurated, and everything. After a couple of weeks after that, I stopped paying attention, and that's when I started smoking weed. And I did that last year too. After he almost had that second assassination attempt. Um, I just started smoking weed, and I wasn't really paying attention as much to things. I was, but I wasn't, like, interacting online on X as much. It's just like I need to get rid of things out of my life that don't serve me. That's why I got rid of marijuana. Um, and I feel like social media is the same thing. I don't feel like it really serves my personal life. I mean, if I'm not growing, why am I continuously putting myself out here? I'm not saying I'm going to stop posting forever on this channel, like I've said in the past. I might go away for a while and then all of a sudden pop back up at some point, because I have to worry about my own personal finances. Um, well, we'll see what happens if I even, maybe I can't get a job. Maybe what happens is I move to Missouri and can't get a place, and I have to live with my mom, and I don't find um, any jobs, nobody hires me, and then I have to go through all of my reserve assets, and then I go bankrupt at some point. I mean, I really don't think that's gonna happen, because I'm really open to working anywhere there. I'll work at Walmart, a couple fast food jobs, whatever. Because I plan on trying to get my debt down. That's what I plan on doing. Because I have nothing else to do with my time anyway. Nothing else is going for me. I don't know what to look into special. I don't even want to specialize in. I don't want to even learn just like one thing and specialize in that. That's not me. That's the biggest problem I have with this. I don't fit in at all anywhere. I don't fit, like, I'm a complete outcast, and I've always been an outcast, and I always will be an outcast. I've always felt like an alien. I'm not an alien, but I've always felt like one. Um, Maybe I am an alien, but I don't feel like I'm one. I'm human. But I just think it was the environment I was raised in that you know I don't know. I have no idea anymore. I really, the bottom thing is, the bottom line is, paying attention. It's just like fiction stuff really doesn't interest me that much anymore. So, like, watching movies, is playing video games. It really doesn't interest me. Like, current events does interest me. It really does. But part of the reason why you use this is to gain, like, if I didn't want anybody to, look at my stuff, I would just put every single one of these videos on private. And so would somebody else, because you want to gain a following. You want people to watch your videos. Whether that makes me a narcissist, I guess that makes me a narcissist. I feel like I'm a hybrid because like it's not just one thing of why I do the things that I do. My main goal wasn't to get famous. Like I gave that up a long time ago. Like I initially wanted to be like a football player. I told my teachers in high school that's where I was going to be, a hockey player or a football player. Did that happen? No, not even close. I didn't even play any high school sports. So, you know, the whole idea of being a rock star when I was younger, that I gave that up basically after I moved to Michigan, so I had the guitar, but I really kind of lack creativity, and that's where I feel like I'm at right now. Not to say that I can't gain creativity to write books, make music, write lyrics, make video content, come up with ideas, and that's what I really feel like I am, is coming up with ideas, and maybe my ideas that I come up with don't make sense, but possibly somebody could hear it, tweak it, and make it absolutely work amazing. Um, so like, yeah, it's just, you know, people probably, especially if anybody that has like not much of a following, they see how many subscribers I have on here, and or like on X, how many followers I have on X, and see me complaining because I don't see growth. And like I said, I'm proud of myself. You know, being able to, even if like, you know, the 13,000 followers that I've gained on X was because of people just basically following me back because I followed them. Um, and there's a lot of them that didn't do that. A lot of them, there's probably a few grand that organically, like not every single one of them, all of them have been organic. If I can talk right, see, this is what people don't like. They don't like real shit. They don't. So like, I have to make the lighting perfect, and I'm just not gonna go do that. Um, but whatever I'm talking about, like that, it's like whatever. So, yeah, there's probably like a good 4 or 5 grand of those probably organic, following me, people following me, and probably a good portion of them, those are bots. I don't know. But my subs on here were completely organic. I didn't follow people back and they followed me. Like this following on here is pretty organic. I feel pretty proud of that. And, my TikTok, I have almost 3,000 followers on there, which I haven't really used in about a year. Um, I tried to make a new one and I didn't really gain much traction on that one. And try to make another X account, kind of like a shadow account. That one got banned, and like the point. My thing was with trying. And I know it sounds so crazy. Oh, do you want to? I wanted to gain some notoriety, so I didn't have to do like repetitive manual labor jobs. That would be one, and I had more time to be creative, and be able to think of things, do things, and you know, um, but the big thing was being able to make something completely on my own without help from anybody, and that's extremely hard. It really is. And like I said, I'm pretty proud of myself to be able to accomplish that, because yeah, most people can't haven't not saying they can't, but they haven't accomplished what I have on here. You know, I wrote 2 books. I could probably write another book. Like seriously, I can probably write a long book in a couple weeks with AI now. And but the other ones, my 2 books that I wrote, like one was a poems book. Um, I typed them out. I completely typed them out, and it took a while. It took a couple months, man. It took a couple months to write those books. The poems one wasn't so bad, but like the other book, yeah, that took some time. Um, like uh with the songs I've wrote, having all my songs, all my albums taken down off of all the major platforms was a huge blow to me. You know, 5 albums, I think an LP or EP or whatever, LP I think it was, and then probably like 11 singles. Like that's a lot of my work. Just like it's not all gone. It's on Facebook and stuff like that, or TikTok. But the fact that when I first uploaded it, I wasn't paying for the site, and they changed things, and it's just like I'm taking everything down. Um, that's what they did. They took it all down. And then, I made up some fictional characters. I'm gonna go out and say it didn't work out because I wanted to try. What I wanted to do is try to build, basically a record label, and I was just floating it to see if it did anything. And yeah, it's really hard to get people to listen to your stuff. I made like 3 characters, um, and yeah, I wanted like the goal was to like let people help, like build that record company up where it could help lift people up. Like if it would have caught traction, the goal was anybody else that wanted to come on, because like I had 5 slots I could use, 5 slots on DistroKid that I can use that I paid for. So like I have 2 extra right now. And it was just like, yeah, I could bring on some real artists, like, you know, and then I can distribute their music for them on my record label, and not be like them getting paid, but they get paid by gaining clout. That was the goal. And then like if like obviously if something popped off, like one of their creations popped off, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm just hoarding all this money. I know that like that sounds weird, like most people, but that's what I was going to do. Is like, I want it to be different. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be organic, and this is like I didn't want it to be pushed by money. I didn't want somebody to be like controlling. I just wanted it to try to be like different from everything. Everything's backed by money. You know what I mean? Um, and that didn't work out. So like I some of those it was pretty cool using AI, honestly, and taking some of my horrible songs that I've created myself with my singing was absolutely brutal. Like my it is brutal, honestly. Didn't have a studio, just using a horrible gaming mic and my phone. That's how I made my music, and an app. But to like, it's so easy to make AI music and to take my lyrics and then just have AI just make it so beautiful. and then like you put their lyrics to mine, and their lyrics just sound so generic compared to mine. To me, maybe other people think like their lyrics are better, but like to me, my lyrics. Maybe it's just because they're my lyrics. I think they're better, but um, yeah, that was cool. You know what I mean? And being able to create that and create like, man, I think I created like a good 4 or 5 albums in like a month with a bunch of singles. It doesn't take that long to create, honestly. And I was just sitting there high, just like creating. I don't have any creative juices anymore right now. I'm not saying I won't. It's just I don't know. So yeah, I don't. I just I'm kind of tired of famous people. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of rich people, and I guess it's envious or whatever. And I know they've worked hard to get where they're at, but for me, I feel like I've worked hard too, and I'm not growing at all. Like I've listened to all these like grind away, work your ass off, and you'll. And no, it hasn't worked for me, man. Even though like I guess it's shit, but I've done it all of my. I haven't had help from anybody. Even like I was just talking to Grok today and told him like all told it all those things, and it's like usually like all that stuff takes a team of people to do. And it's like, yeah, I raised a family while I was doing it while working a full-time job, and it's cool, man. Like, people who suck shouldn't be like getting notoriety or anything like that. So yeah, I'm mush mouth. I get told I'm mush mouth, and when I make videos, people say, "Thanks for wasting 55 seconds of my life because you didn't really say anything." And you know, yeah, I don't deserve to be big, so it's cool. That's what I'm getting. So that's what it is. And not to mention, I don't really have support from anything that I've created from family either. So like, dude, if your own family doesn't like support you on your creative endeavors, like, yeah, like that's why I'm like telling Grok, I'm like, should I just quit social media? And that's what I kind of feel like doing. I kind of feel like just dropping off when I move. I feel like kind of just like kind of going back to the old days before social media, and using it less and less, and just kind of just like putting my head down and working. And because the big thing for me is I want robots here. I want things to be way better, and I'm not happy with the way things are right now. And I know AI has progressed a lot, yes, but that doesn't help me. That doesn't help my personal life. You know, people probably won't believe me when I say this. Like, I wanted to get big so I can bless other people or I can lift other people up. I don't see that, man. I just see like the big time creators are just self-serving, and there's not really lifting anybody else up because they view them as competition. And it's like what I wanted to do was pop off and then pull people up and let them take over and kind of like sit back. You know what I mean? I don't need to be in the spotlight. I don't I really don't even want to be in the spotlight. I haven't even really. I spoke on like Spaces one time on X. You know, people who've come this far in this video will probably say like I'm envious. I guess I am. Maybe I am envious because like I don't know. Like when you work as hard as I have, I have literally grinded and I've grinded. And that's what those videos were talking about earlier today. It's like, I have grinded, man. I've seriously grinded. And for nothing, it feels like. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm gonna cut this video off. It looks like it's getting kind of dark in here, so I have to go through my X account, and I got rid of the big accounts that I was following, and I think I'm following, instead of like 250, I'm only following 61. And like I said, if somebody interacts with me, I'm gonna follow them. Because I ain't shit. There's no reason for me to have all these followers, and I'm not following a bunch of people back. I should be following a lot of people back. It's pretty fucking ridiculous. Like I'm somebody special or something. The idea was to follow the people, like I said, that I was influenced by, so other people be like, but nobody's gonna look at that. Nobody's gonna look at how, like, who I'm following. Like I'm nobody special. I'm never gonna be nobody special. I'm just a regular person, and that's where I'm just like. Now I watched I gotta cut this off, but like I watched Major League, the baseball movie. This was Back to the Minors, so this was kind of like a really poor acting movie, and the script was kind of bad compared to the blockbuster ones, Major League 1 and 2. It's probably kind of crazy to see like it get darker if anybody ever watches this all the way through. Um, but in this story, it made me think like, so like the coach, he ended up being a coach or something. He ended up being a minor league coach, and obviously like with these type of stories, like you see the adversity and then he comes back and he does great things. Like it really doesn't happen in real life for me, but it probably happens for a lot of people, like Trump. He got the job of being a major league coach and he turned it down uh, because he felt like he had more of an impact putting on information with the youth. And that's kind of similar to me. It was like, I am nobody special. And I'm wondering if people are kind of just getting like tired of rich people and famous people at this point. Because they're just so out of touch with reality. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. And whatever, man. I don't know. I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know. Um, I don't know what I want to. Yeah, I was. I don't even know if I want to own a house. Like I don't have any. I don't have any plans. I just don't have anything I want to strive for anymore. I don't know if it's depression or what. It's just I don't know, man. But that's it.